Welcome, friends. Welcome back to Connectedness. I'm Fernanda, your host and founder of Filled Cups. And this is the space where we explore what it means to grow, connect, and to trust ourselves and to show up authentically with each other. Today's conversation is such an important one, especially for women navigating seasons of change in their bodies and lives. And I'm definitely in that camp. I'm joined today by my friend Sylvie Brockman, a health coach who specializes in gut health and helping women feel vibrant, energized, and at home in their bodies again. What I love about Sylvie's work is that she doesn't just talk about symptoms, she really looks at the whole person. And today we are diving into this topic and today we are diving into a topic that doesn't always get enough attention, the role of gut health during perimenopause and menopause, and how supporting our bodies during this time can actually open up the door to a more fulfilled and connected life. And Sylvie has her own powerful story of healing her gut and reclaiming her energy, which led her to help other women do the same. So, this conversation is going to be both deeply personal and really practical. Sylvie, I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, I would love it if you could start with your story. What led you into this work?
Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me, Fernanda. And I'm so glad we met. I
Yes.
always feel we meet people for a reason. And I'm so thankful we have met and for the friendship. And thank you for invitation to this podcast because I feel like this is topic that it's still not discussed enough.
No.
So, what led me to become a health coach is my own struggles with my own health. And it all started a long time ago when I first moved to the US. I started eating the SAD, the standard American diet, which is the typical, heavy processed foods and fast food and artificial colors and artificial ingredients. And
Yeah.
at that point, it was kind of exciting for me, right? Seeing bright blue colors and everything looks so yummy. And then little later, right, I started kind of looking at the labels on the packaging and I was like, wow, what is all that? You can't even read it, you can't pronounce it. So, discovering later all this was making me sick. I started feeling really miserable. Like
Mm.
my sleep was horrible, my energy, those afternoon crashes, like 2, 3 p.m. It was like, woof, I needed coffee or something to wake me up. I was experiencing a lot of like joint pain, back pain, a lot of digestive issues.
Mm.
I was diagnosed with GERD, um, migraines. My skin was acting up, and I also gained like 10 pounds, which was so not me.
Yeah.
So yeah, through my own personal journey, really, when I started looking into the foods and how we live here in the US and all the stress and sedentary lifestyle, that all combined was making me sick. So I was so sick of feeling miserable. I'm like, I need to do something. So started with my own research and following all the best doctors in holistic medicine. I started paying attention and reading, learning, and I was able to really heal myself. And I feel like that was my calling, really, to start helping other women, especially going through perimenopause and menopause, because that's when things started to change, really, for everybody, for all the women out there.
Right. And so some of the things you said, like you were feeling miserable, not yeah, your health, I'm guessing, was impacting your mental well-being probably also. Um, you said that, yeah, you felt disconnected from your body at one point. What did that feel like day to day?
It was horrible. I started experiencing like a lot of anxiety that
Mhm.
I've like I didn't really know what the feeling was. I felt anxious a lot. It was like a cascade of effects. And
Mm.
I like back then I didn't know it's all connected to our gut health because that's where our hormones are made. That's where serotonin, the good feel hormone, is made. It's in our gut. Um, so it felt horrible. I felt like, I was too young back then to feel like that. I was like, no, this is not okay. I want to wake up energized in the morning and be excited about my day. And that was not the case.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, you know what? Like I do know some of the stuff you're talking about with the how it everything is related to the gut, but I didn't realize that the gut was so instrumental in your actual energy levels too.
Yes.
So when you're I guess let's take a few steps back for the audience if they let's say like let's pretend our audience doesn't know a lot about gut health. Like what
Mhm.
when you say gut health, what do you actually like what are you actually talking about?
Well, our gut health, it's not, just it's the whole digestive tract, right? But
Mhm.
it includes all the microbiome, and I'm sure you hear a lot. That's a kind of topic so many people talk about, do I take
Yeah.
probiotics, prebiotics, what do I do? So that's the whole microbiome, all those good and
Mm.
bad bugs in our microbiome. And what's interesting about that, as we approach in perimenopause and menopause, that is completely changing with the dropping of the estrogen levels in our body. Our
Mm.
digestion is completely changing throughout those years. So we
Mm.
have to support that, right, the best way we can. The gut lining, that's how it's important to have a really strong gut lining because that's how we absorb the nutrients. There is this leaky gut syndrome, and I always tell people if you've never heard of leaky gut, it's like those junctions in your gut lining should be nice and tight. But with all different environmental things, toxins, a lot of processed foods, sugar, that gut lining gets damaged over time. And the junctions are not as tight. So we have these little spaces that were not there before.
Mm.
And that's what most people started experiencing food sensitivities.
Mm.
So if you heard of anybody telling you, oh, I can eat gluten, I can't eat this or that, my body is not feeling right after I eat that. It's because they have a leaky gut. So those foods start leaking into our bloodstream and we don't feel right. Some people experience bloating, right? A lot of
Yeah.
just indigestion. Some people have even worse things, like some get headaches, some might feel nauseous.
Yeah.
um, so that's the gut lining. And then this is all connected how our gut communicates with our brain. So you might heard of people saying our, gut is our second brain. So
Yeah.
that is true.
So
So those
so
two are always talking to each other, right?
right. So like can I that you said one thing just now that I kind of feel like we need to dial in a little bit. You said during perimenopause and menopause, something's change in our gut, whether it's the gut lining or just in general, like the microbiome or the bacteria. Um, what changes during? Is it like the hormones decrease, so the microbiome changes, or?
So when our estrogen keeps dropping, right?
Mhm.
It starts usually around age 35. That's kind of the number. It can be
Mhm.
higher or lower for some women, but on average it's about 35. Our estrogen levels is going to start decreasing in our body naturally,
Mm.
right? As we are approaching menopause, and it can be 10 years for some women.
Yeah.
So, with the estrogen decreasing, estrogen supports the gut lining and the healthy bacteria. Once we have less and less and less of that, um, digestion becomes more sensitive.
Mm.
Women, like number one thing I hear from women around this age, 40, 50, whatever, 35 and up, I always say it's a lot of bloating. Some women even think they think like they tell me, oh, I feel like I'm 3 months pregnant. I have this belly down here and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Mm.
So a lot of women, thanks to the decline of estrogen, start experiencing sensitivities to certain foods, a lot of bloating, inflammation, fatigue, like the energy drops down,
Yeah.
um, and the mood. Because
Mm.
again, so many of our, well, majority of our hormones are made in our gut.
Yeah. Okay. So it impacts, and it is everything you're saying sounds very familiar for not just myself, but other people I know. Like, for even like random people I talk to at Zumba class, they're
Hmm.
talking to me about the symptoms you just described.
Hmm.
Um, so okay, so now I kind of get it. It's the estrogen dropping and making it kind of causing some upheaval in in our guts. Um,
Yeah.
so with w- like if we can tie it back to like living our best lives, like if we are somebody if the woman who is listening here is like, hey, I resonate with everything Sylvie is saying, and I want to be back to my normal self, or I want to be at my best, like what kind of things can she do?
Well, first of all the women need to focus on our gut health,
Yes.
no matter what. So, what does that mean, right? We need to eat real food,
Yeah.
stay away from as much as possible. And I know it's hard in this society, the convenience is important.
Hmm.
So, eat real food. I don't even care, like, really what kind, but make sure it comes from single ingredients. Cook at home the best, the most you can, because eating out, you're not doing yourself any favors. They are using inflammatory oils, the cheap ingredients, which increases inflammation again.
Yeah.
So eating real food, make sure we drink enough water. I know we hear it a lot, but still over 55% of women and the, like population in general walk around dehydrated every single day.
Okay, just well, keep talking, Sylvie. I'm gonna put myself on mute, and you just reminded
We're
me.
gonna finish the bottle by the time we are done with this conversation. So yes, stay away from processed food. Eat real food. Number one thing most women don't get enough in their diets, it's enough protein. There's a disconnect between, again, thanks to dropping a drop of estrogen, our body, our brain is telling us like, oh, I need simple sugars, I need starches, I need carbs, I need sugar. Have you ever experienced that? Like, oh, I need something sweet, right? Or I need something salty. Some people experience salty cravings, right? But again, because of the estrogen dropping situation, there's a miscommunication. What our body is really asking for is more protein. So our brain is telling us, oh, I need sugar, I need something quick now, energy. Nope, your body actually needs more protein. So if you do eat anything, simple carbohydrates and it's, I don't know, something sweet, make sure you always have protein with all your meals. And I tell people generally, there are some formulations that we can recommend depending on everybody's weight. But if I would say like one number, I would say aim for about 30 grams of protein with each meal you eat every time.
So, okay, um, I think, and just from my own personal experience tracking calories and grams of protein,
Hmm.
lunch and dinner, I think it's achievable for a consider if I consider myself a normal person, an average woman, like it's somewhat achievable to do 30 grams at lunch and 30
Hmm.
grams at dinner. But what
Mhm.
about breakfast? Because some people skip breakfast, and some people just have something light at breakfast. What? How do are you able to get 30 grams for breakfast?
Mhm.
How do
Yes,
you
yes.
do that?
So my first thing, um, like everything I try to eat or drink throughout my day, I always make sure I add the most nutrition to it I can.
Mm,
So if I'm going to be drinking coffee in the morning, or of course, make sure it's organic because non organic coffee is usually filled with mold and we don't want that in our body. So make sure it's always organic. I add a lot of collagen to my protein, which it's to my coffee. I'm sorry, to my coffee, which
yeah,
it's protein, right?
yeah,
Essential collagen is protein. So that's one way to make your coffee more nutritious. I add plant-based milk that has some protein. Then I take my pre-digested protein, which they are pills. That's like number one thing. And it's like 15 grams equivalent of eating it. And it
mm-hmm,
has really 0 calories. That's my go-to favorite for women, especially because it helps you build the muscles
yeah.
without even working out. And it helps with skin elasticity too.
Oh,
So
good.
yes, so that's my other protein, and then I have usually my green juice with some added protein to it. So yeah, I'm usually at 30 grams easily. And I don't count anything, don't get me wrong. Like I don't believe in counting carbs, calories, macros. Oh, no, this is not a way of living. No. But after a while, you just do things, it becomes a habit. And I'm a big
Yeah.
proponent of habits because
Mm,
if we do something like we go brush our teeth before bedtime, if we keep adding things throughout the day, okay, I do this, take my aminos, it's simple, right? People need simplicity in today's life. If I tell
true.
them, go to the store, do this, choose this, do this, they're like, what? This is too much work. I don't have time for that. So I
Yeah.
love simplicity. So, yes, for people, some that need more food in the morning, of course, eggs, salmon,
Mm,
omelette, it's great.
mm,
Farmer's cheese, cottage cheese. Some things are just loaded. Greek yogurt is loaded with protein, of course.
mm-hmm,
So that's
mm.
a great way to start your day, and it will help you with the blood sugar regulation throughout the day. It's going to eliminate those cravings so many people experience. Because if people start their day with oatmeal or donut or muffin, 2 hours later, you are, oh, I'm so hungry, right?
Right.
So if you eat any of those, make sure you always have protein with that.
Okay. And okay, so you gave us like a bunch of good ideas of how to have more protein for breakfast, and it sounds like you believe in keeping things easy. You touched upon habits, which is wonderful to hear.
Mhm.
Um, we, you know, we what like say somebody follows that protocol, and I think you could probably even talk from experience too, and maybe some of your clients, like what shifts when a woman starts feeling better physically?
So the number one thing they usually notice that their clothes starts fitting better
Okay.
around their waistline.
Yeah.
And I tell them, even for people they're not looking to lose, a lot of weight. For many women, the number on a scale is very important, right? And I try to tell them, don't focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on, see, oh, my pants fit better. They are not as tight. And that's number one thing most women experience. They start sleeping better, which is so crucial for our overall well-being. And when somebody tells me they sleep for 5 6 hours a day, I'm like, oh, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Not enough for our body to recover because we detoxify when we sleep. So the deep sleep is extremely important. So the sleep, when we finish I'm a big proposer of parasite cleanses. When we finish that, and it's super simple, again, it's nothing to be, afraid of, the program I use, but the brain fog lifts. That's when like,
Mm.
ooh, like I can think clearly, and skin improves too. So that's women love that, of course. Um, because the one thing about parasites that when people ask me, why do we have to do that? I'm like, well, you are deworming your dogs, right,
Mm.
regularly. So if you eat sushi, you eat pork, you eat raw vegetables, or you live with pets, you will have parasites. And they're okay if they don't kind of, they're just kind of coexisting with all the good bugs in our gut. But if there are too many of them, there are symptoms, and the brain fog is number one symptom actually, and digestive issues and bloating. So the brain fog lifts, skin improves, and then with all that, because the parasites are actually eating your nutrition. That's how they
Wow.
live. So if
Yeah.
they're eating your nutrition, your body's not getting it because the parasites already ate it. So, you know, people start feeling better, they digestion improves, and they seem happier because now the body gets more nutrients and we start producing more hormones.
Oh. So all the things you just said about parasites, I had no idea. No, I didn't know about any of that. So I guess you
Most
learn a
don't.
new thing every day.
Yeah, yeah, most don't talk about it. And I had this story. I had a client a couple of years ago, and she came to me. She said, "You know what? I've been to all these GI, gastroenterologists. I had all the scanning done. I had all the testing done. And I don't know why, but like every morning I wake up, I have to run to the bathroom once, not once, but twice, three times." Um, and she said, nobody can figure out what's wrong with me. Why, I have to be like this. And she said, yeah, doctors, diagnosed me with IBS, which is
Mm,
irritable bowel syndrome. And it's like a term when they really don't know what's wrong, right? It's
right.
kind of generic condition and it can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what? Just do this program for 30 days, do this parasite cleanse. And 2 weeks later, she calls me crying. Honestly, she was crying on the phone. She's like, you know what? This is the first morning in 2 years for me. I didn't have to rush to the bathroom like I always have.
Wow.
So, no doctor ever suggested that she had parasites, that there were just too many of them in her system. So, I believe food is medicine. And, I believe how we feed our body. It's like a car. You have a nice car. You're not going to pour cheap gasoline in it because you're going to ruin it. And we
Yeah.
were given one body to live.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of form of self-respect how we feed it, what we put in it, right? That's how I look at it.
That is kind of, I think you've just touched upon something really deep related to self care in relation to self love and self respect,
Mhm.
where a lot of people, and I can tell you, like, I've had my own issues with obesity, and a lot of times the habits that drive those unhealthy outcomes are related to some kind of psychological
Yes.
um, issue, whether it's lack of self worth or trauma or something like that, and it's all related, right? So, like what the metaphor you just used about putting good quality gasoline in the car so that you don't break your car is like
Mhm.
super powerful, super powerful. Um,
Yeah.
so like if someone is listening to you now and they're feeling kind of overwhelmed and they're like, oh my gosh, it's a lot, like what can they start doing today? Maybe two to three things that you think are the most important things for them to do to start kind of changing the trajectory of their situation with their gut. Like, let's assume they are having all those bad symptoms you were talking about earlier. Like,
I guess they should look at how what they eat every single day.
Mm-hmm.
How do they start their day, right? I always tell people you want to start with one small change. You don't want to do all these changes at once because we get overwhelmed and
Mm-hmm.
then we give up and we are like so frustrated. So start with one small change, right? If you know you are eating ice cream every single night
Mm-hmm.
or doing anything that you know you should not be doing, be mindful of that and always like, okay, I want this ice cream. Why do I want this ice cream, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes because we had a hard day, we think we're gonna feel better after we eat this, but probably not. You're gonna actually
Mm-hmm.
feel worse and you're gonna sleep worse if you eat ice cream at night. So start changing those little things and say, okay, if I don't eat ice cream every day, maybe I can just have it twice a week, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cut back on those things that we all know we should not be doing. I feel like when people, once they start moving their body more, again, we're gonna start producing more of our happy hormones,
Yeah.
and you will not need those things like that ice cream or whatever that is that you're grabbing to feel better. Because yes, you are correct, it is usually connected to our emotions. It's like something is always behind this is not just we. Sometimes it is a habit, but you just have to find something else, like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I want to grab this ice cream, but nope, I'm gonna go for a walk
Yeah. Yeah.
or call my girlfriend, right?
Yeah. Go for a walk, call your girlfriend, take a nap or rest or yeah,
Hmm.
that's all great, great. Almost it's almost like you're talking about some habit stacking, but good habits that one kind of generates the other. Almost like a snowball for good. Like once you start watching what you eat and moving, and all of a sudden you are starting to feel better. So then you're like, oh, how can I continue this feeling or feel even better? Oh,
And
I'm gonna go,
also,
buy
what I
some
want to
veggies or
what I
something.
want to mention, like when we have our meals, probably our meals structured properly, which
Mhm.
means we have a good fats, we have a good carbs, and we have a protein in them, we will not be experiencing those cravings,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Because we have balanced meals, which will stabilize our blood sugar levels.
Mhm.
And that means like we don't have cravings. Like I don't think I really have cravings for anything, honestly. So if you start your day with lots of protein, if you eat your apple, you're going to add maybe some walnuts with that
Mhm.
instead of just the apple on its own, right? So we slow down the digestion. We get some of the good fats into our body, which helps our brain.
Mm.
Um, all these little habits that I typically suggest to my clients.
Yeah. So, okay, this is a good segue into my next section of questions here. Like you, as a health coach, that's one of the services that you offer on your website, like a health coaching. What does that actually look like if somebody were interested in that?
So when somebody comes to me and says, I feel horrible, I have this, that, sometimes, unfortunately, they have to be diagnosed with something, right? That's like their wake up call. Oh, I was just, doctor says I'm pre-diabetic. I'm on the
Mhm.
verge of starting with metformin.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to prevent all that, right? Like prevention, prevention, prevention. So when they come to me, we go through, we have, of course, I offer a 30-minute consultation, kind of discovery call. I ask a lot of questions. There's a medical kind of questionnaire as well involved because we want to dig a little deeper, right?
Mm.
Like
Mm.
in the history, where were we 20, 10, 15 years ago, whatever. When was the last time you felt comfortable in your body? You had the energy. What changed since then?
Mm.
So we dig into that and then we come up with a plan depending on what kind of support they are looking for. If they are looking for accountability partner, that's me. And we
Mhm.
usually meet weekly over Zoom or in person. I even offer like a walk and talk session. So if they're kind of in Charlotte area, we go for walks. Actually, we
Nice.
walk while we doing our session instead of sitting, because we all need to move more. Our bodies are not meant to sit so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we meet weekly. We create a plan depending on the needs of the person. And then, there's always some sort of homework assigned, small steps, right?
Yeah.
And because most people, they kind of know what to do, but for whatever reason, they are not doing it.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe priorities, they're too busy, right? Oh, I do it later. So I think accountability is what most people need.
Hmm.
Once, they say statistically it takes 90 days to create a new habit. Till the
90,
new thing becomes a habit. Takes 90 days.
90
And
days. I didn't
90
I believe it, and I had heard 21 days before, but I think 90 days is probably closer to reality, and it's
Yes.
so fast to drop a good habit too, or to go back to a bad habit, right? Like,
Very easy. Yes, we get busy. We don't plan properly. We don't plan our meals, right? We don't think about it too much because
yeah.
life gets in the way, and especially for women that have families and kids, we are wearing so many different hats
Hmm.
every single day. We are like this. Our brains are like this multitasking
Yeah.
center of for our families, right?
It's crazy, honestly. I don't even know how we do it. Like, there's so much going on.
We are so special. We are amazing,
We
right?
really are.
We are, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. But I feel
Hmm.
like women, they always put themselves last. They make
Hmm.
sure all the kids are fed, the husbands are whatever, and then we are so exhausted at the end of the day that like there's no time for us. So I'm trying to teach women that it is not, you are not, it's okay to take care of yourself and take the time for yourself and go do whatever makes you happy and brings you joy. It's
Yes.
a go for a walk with the girlfriend, it's a gym time, it's a going on a little trip by yourself. It's okay, right?
Yeah. Go salsa
Self-care is super
dancing. Go
important.
dancing, right?
Go dancing, yes.
No, you're preaching to the choir. I think you're right on. Like, taking care of yourself should be a priority, and it's totally okay for us to prioritize that. And it would actually be a vicious cycle for good. Like, if you take care of yourself, all of the other areas of your life will improve.
That's
Your
right.
relationship,
Yes.
everything. So, yeah, definitely very important. So, Sylvia, I think we're getting close to the end of the episode. Are there things coming up for you that you'd like the listeners to know about? Because I am gonna publish this pretty quickly
Yes, so
tomorrow.
we have our nutritional group resets. They are starting every Monday, and
Okay.
that's like the program I use. It's organic, raw nutrition that's super simple, even for people that don't need accountability, but they're just looking for better sleep, better digestion.
Hmm.
This is amazing. I've been using this program for over 8 years myself, and I
Okay.
will never stop.
Hmm.
That's what kept me going in my last, difficult few years of my life. And I'm here and I survived and I'm
Yeah.
better than ever. But so that's the group reset. And also, here in Indian Trail, we are hosting an in-person women's event. It's going to be before Mother's Day on May 7th between
Yeah.
5 and 8. And that's me and three other holistic practitioners. So hopefully you can join us as well.
I already registered. It's
Oh,
already on
yay.
my calendar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to have some mini sessions, some really, you're going to, experience that from all the practitioners. I'm going to have some superfood samples. It's going to be
Nice.
just really neat event to just celebrate us as women, and the self-care again goes to. We have to
Yeah,
love ourselves.
that's beautiful. I'm excited for your event, and I'll put it. I'll put the thing in the show notes for the listeners who are local to
Yes,
Charlotte to find out
please.
about it.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
Sylvie, thank you so much for the conversation. I love how you've brought such a holistic and compassionate perspective to something that so many women are experiencing but don't always feel supported through.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah, and everyone listening, I hope this episode reminded you that your body isn't working against you; it's communicating with you, and
Mhm.
even small intentional changes can create a ripple effect in how you feel, how you show up, how you experience life. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to share it with a friend or someone who needs to hear it. And as always, thank you for being part of the connectedness community. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next episode.